afternoon and welcome to Urban East Africa's premier show. This is CJ Scott and we are so delighted that you are tuned in and you're joining right on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So we now are coming to you live on both. So glad that you are able to tune in. So please let us know where you're watching from and please share the videos as well. Share the stream. I'm your host CJ ATEMO. Today I've got an illustrious panel. I've worked with them before over time, and so you're in for a treat. So what you need to do, again, please share the stream. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, CJ ATEMO, kindly subscribe right now. Subscribe. So I give you 5 seconds to just do that, like, immediately. And also tag your friends, tag your family, tag everyone that you know. Let them come along because we're going to have a great show today. We will be talking about millennial relationships, especially with regard to COVID-19. You know, millennials, a lot is said about them, their behavior, their culture, and we just want to delve into how they have been affected with regard to their relationships and especially with regard to COVID-19. I've got my panel here from the farthest left, Gerald Paul.
Oh, that's my name. I'm happy to be here today.
Good to have you. You know, I always asked you over the past, every other time, those days you are an online producer. Ruth is laughing already. And I would always be like, what does an online producer do? It's like I would have people on the set who would say, I'm a media personality. Then I would ask, what is a media personality? Because I think this age has come up with a lot of designations. You know, you can easily craft something for what you do or what you don't do. But it's good to have you on the CJ Scott. Ruth BOLO, you're not new anymore. And you know this is home for you.
This is home, and home is always the best.
Right.
So thank you so much for having me once again.
All right. And you're looking good.
Thank you so much. You know, having a host who is always 100% when it comes to fashion, you have to try and keep up. I don't want the train to leave me behind.
And actually, talking about that, I need to do something for you. Because, you know, I run this called Creativity Designs. So we need to do something for you so you put on the CD label. Cindy, I hope you watch that so you get out.
Watch out.
Oh, okay, well. I'm sorry I didn't give you that offer, but I will. Then I've got James Mahmi. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
With your hair quite grown. Is it a COVID thing or something?
Yeah,
Guys
the COVID season. We're avoiding barbers, yeah. But I'm glad to be here. The first time on the CJ Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, lady and gentlemen, you know, this COVID season, relationships, people would mostly, when they're dating, they go out in the evenings. Even just couples, they want to do dinner. So they will always talk about dinner dates. I rarely hear about breakfast as dates. Sometimes lunch, but mostly people would use the evenings to either fund their love or rekindle it. Then there was the lockdown. There was the curfew. 7 o'clock, that's done. People who would travel, like, you know, from I'm going to visit my boyfriend or somebody to Nakuru over the weekend, there was the lockdown over that. And we know that millennials really love to have their space. They want to make their own decisions. They don't like structure coming into things. How have we been affected? And I'm speaking like a millennial wannabe.
I think there are 3 types of couples or situations that have happened. The first one is of people who had long distance dating.
Right.
Either you were now not able to see your loved one for a very long time, and you know, of course, when that happens, a lot of insecurities begin to pop in. Or you were locked in Nairobi or Mombasa with them.
Okay.
And then we have those that had started moving in together. And now you're both spending so much time together, you're so much into each other's space and faces. A lot of quarrels are bound to happen, or you're bound to grow stronger. And then the third type of people were those that were living in the same area, say Nairobi, for example, or Mombasa, And then all these things happen. One of them loses a job, and now it's an opportunity card. Because I don't have a job, let's move in together. Let's move in together so that we cushion each other on some of these things. And a lot of things happen. There are those who have gotten married without knowing they've gotten married. There are the beautiful babies that have been conceived during this time, and many say that that's another way of signing your marriage certificate. And we've got cases of domestic violence that are on the increase. So it has come with both pros and cons.
But Gerald, if somebody had not prepared for this moving in, like probably this relationship was at a certain stage, we are committed, but we have not gotten to the stage where we feel we need to start living together, be married. And then we just find ourselves going into this thing. Don't you think that's a very huge adjustment for people to make?
Yes, because now you're coming in. Personally, probably I did not plan to stay with a lady, but now you see, probably I'm not ready for marriage. But then here is a situation to go quarantine. We are quarantined, and we have to stay indoors together. One, maybe because you see, mostly what has brought people together there is this something. It gives you confidence that there is someone there for me.
Right.
And because you are afraid you might be broke tomorrow, maybe I'm not broke, maybe we are sharing the little resources we have, and then we find ourselves now into the relationship, because we are caring for each other in the name of care. And then again, now it jumps all the way from care to relationship, and then from relationship into something more than just a relationship, and then now here we are even becoming more attached. And I don't want to leave you now because we are attached, and I'm used to you. But then when you get resources outside, this new wedlock we just created, and then you get someone else who can treat you better, give you more money and all that, and you want to leave, now it becomes violent. Because
I was going to ask you that whether it is sustainable when you start relationships from the point, what you're talking about is actually convenience.
Yes.
It's like, well, let's get together because of probably economic issues or considerations. And then this thing just keeps on turning into something, evolving into something else. And probably there are what Ruth was talking about, so there's certain babies that have shown up, or there's a certain bond. But this thing just started as something out of convenience. Probably hoping that it will be 3 weeks, and then the whole thing just kept on dragging, and people could not travel.
Allow me to just jump in and ask, since we're talking about the millennials, what percent of these millennials actually marry for love or settle for love?
James
Nowadays, it's mainly convenience. They're more like partnerships. Very rarely do you hear that it is because of love. And those that do, unfortunately, 2-3 years down the line, you hear they're separated.
James, is that true, that people who marry for love get separated? Is it easier when it is a business arrangement?
Well, I think when we talk about millennials, the millennials have misconceptions about love, and there are things that have affected the millennials and their thinking about marriage, and that one has affected the way people view marriage and all these things. So what she's talking about is probably not generally speaking, but especially in urban areas. Most millennials in urban areas don't have a right view on marriage. And that's why probably they don't either get into marriage, or when they get into marriage, they don't understand the infrastructure of marriage. And especially during this period, I can...
You hear that? Where am I? The infrastructure of marriage. The infrastructure, man. You got to write that in the comment section.
Because marriage it's a building.
Yeah.
You need an engineer.
And he's right.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So I think during this COVID season, I don't believe that people have not been meeting. Right. Maybe in places where there is lockdown, but when I study love, I know that love in its texture, it's like fire. There is a way it drives you towards someone. because it's driven by desire. So most people, according to what I've seen around, most people have been visiting each other. Most people have been doing sleepovers, and I'll not be shocked in January, November if I see baby boom. I'll not be shocked. But one of the things that probably have are affecting millennials, especially when it comes to the COVID season, most of the millennials did not have the right social capital, especially to make sure that apart from a partner in a relationship, you have another support system that you can talk to. So most of the millennials have found themselves in a cocoon whereby you only have one person you can pour out your life to, and that is your boyfriend. So you find yourself in situationships whereby you don't want to spend 3 or 4 months alone at home. Even if probably you stay with your parents, you see it's like a prison of a kind.
And you know, as you say that,
Yeah.
very interesting, as you say that, there's a lot of advice that comes on, especially online. You'll hear all of this, and even in talk shows, you hear that, and people will say, if he's not talking to you for 2 days, he's talking to somebody else.
Yeah.
If he's not spending time with you online, he's spending time with somebody else online, and that kind of creates a lot of insecurity, right? Because people keep on hearing this and this over and over, so it might be genuine that, James, you are on set right now, so you're not able to respond on phone.
Yeah.
And the other person is thinking, why is he not picking my calls? Why is he not reading my messages? He must be with somebody else.
Let me tell you, there is this snake I need to bring out of the carpet.
Well, not this carpet.
This snake called memes. I'm
Right.
telling you, we have a dangerous snake there called memes. Memes are now overdone. They are overrated. There are people who now believe in memes more than they believe in real life.
True.
So someone goes to memes and looks at what memes say and look at the world like the way they read on the meme. Like I saw a meme saying, it is what it is. It is what it is. And you can do what you want to do because this life is too short. And I look at it and I was like, it is not what it is what you make it. Because if you go at it is what it is, this is a very simple way of becoming reckless. Like you meet somebody, you don't know this person, you just meet and then things happen and you say, hey, they happened, it is what it is, and tomorrow you're moving on as if nothing happened. And you find that because of this, people are finding comfort in memes. They are hiding behind memes, and you think now because I read that one, it satisfies you, and it gives you self-gratification that you have done something that you know is not right for you, but you're still hiding behind the memes.
But Gerald, don't
Yeah.
you think you're crucifying memes wrongly because it is a fellow human being that came up with that meme?
That's why I'm saying
And most of the time you
memes are
find that
opinions. They are-
it is what someone has said that you're afraid to say, or the truth that someone has said that you're scared that if I put this up, Mr. Man will see, Madam will see, my mom will see, my auntie will see, but it is the truth.
Yes.
Some of those memes that people actually share and people actually put, they are experiences of other people.
Yes.
And they are truths from other people, because what might be true to me might not necessarily be true to you.
Yes.
So I think memes actually just help us put out there what we need to, what we want to say, but we're not saying, but not to move far away from it. I think we are at a time where young people are looking for different ways to converse as opposed to using words. We are moving away from having deep conversations about what does your future look like? What do you think we should do together in person? And we are now moving on to, in the morning we catch up. So how is your day like? What have you eaten? Are you okay? Did you sleep well? Okay. In the evening, it is, did you do what you had said you're doing? Have you eaten? Have you showered? That's it. The rest of the time in between, we are sharing songs, we are sharing memes, we are tagging each other on certain things. So we really need to, and that is why even for these quarantine relationships, there is that issue. I think I always say this, there's the issue of communication.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
But I still want to come back to the place. I asked the question, and Gerald, in a sense, answered it, but we scattered around it. This thing, so here is James sitting over here, and the lady in his life is trying to reach him. and cannot reach him. Now, because of some of those things like the memes and all of that,
Yes.
somebody has said if he's not picking your calls, he is talking to somebody else.
There
If
is some
he's-
truth in that. It has created anxiety, insecurity, and has made this person to believe the truth that is not there.
And I
you
agree.
said- like you say, it's a way of communication. Memes are other people's experience.
Those
But
are
what they do,
digital wahengas,
yes,
right?
wahengas, they're digital wahengas. And what they do, they pull you and they make you to live in that someone else's fear. It makes you live in that someone else's anxiety, and then you're thinking, truly this person is talking to someone else
Yes.
because you saw that in a meme. And then you tend to become that reckless because of that, and you don't have real conversations.
Talk
And
about the
actually too-
psychological impact of that.
I think first of all, we need to, the relationships in urban areas are interfered with so much, especially with social media.
Well,
now,
keep
when
on
you say,
separating the urban and the rural, do we have rural people
we have
nowadays?
rural, we still have rural.
Because the young
But
guys, James, they come to colleges in the urban areas,
And they become the same.
and it's actually very difficult to tell whoever grew up in the village, right?
Yeah.
So is it different out there?
The only difference is the level of civilization, because now when we talk about an urban if we talk about an urban young person, millennial, their thinking is totally different. Their source of wisdom is totally different. Probably they might be watching some YouTube channel and getting their source of wisdom from that particular individual. So when we talk about the question that you asked, that if they do not respond to your text, your calls, maybe they are not in for you. One of the things in relationships, and this is very important, most people in urban areas, that's the reason I'm trying to most young people in urban areas in relationships date strangers. And you know, when you date a stranger, when you're in a relationship with a stranger, you are always trying to find faults. You're always fault finding. You're always trying to understand them. But when you're in a relationship with your friend, my friend, I've been a friend to this particular woman for a while. They know that I'm in CJ's court right now. Right. There's no way at a jam when she's trying to reach out to me, they will understand. So if there is no understanding in a relationship, and that understanding comes from a place of intimacy, whereby you have taken time to build each other. But when you are dating a stranger, one you picked online and probably it's 2 months old, they'll begin feeling that.
When you talk about intimacy, I remember, and I think that was a meme as well, when the CS for Health would talk about the police should not use force at the beginning of COVID, then people would say, well, that it depends on the interpretation, how the police will interpret that instruction. And when you talk about intimacy, so I'm worried about how the millennial interprets the word.
Intimacy,
Yeah.
exactly. And I was about to say that. I was about to say that. Because what was romantic the days of our parents is not the same meaning as right now.
No.
So when you say intimacy, there's so many things that comes to the minds of a young person. And right now, just like you were saying, it is difficult to differentiate between an urban and a rural person, because even the relationships that are in the rural environment, they go through almost the same exact thing. Because nowadays, they also have social media there, especially with these new phones that have come, you know, the copper phones where you can lipa pole pole. They have that. They have the social clubs there. They have the social centers. And there you'll find, especially in some areas I know, it is the motorbike guys that are the in thing. So and this motorbike guy is going to carry females every other day. So she's going to ask you, so if you are not talking to me, ulikuwa unabeba nani huyo kama hauko?
I think the difference in relationships is the dating culture. The dating culture is totally different depending on the demographics.
Yeah, but you know, motorbikes were very romantic in the past.
There is a problem. The romance and the romantic affairs, I don't feel like they have changed. I feel it's just our behaviors that just changed. There are people who still believe in relationships. There are people who are in strong relationships which may not be broken easily. There are people who are not there to take advantage of each other. There are people who are, all is not gone yet. Inside the same millennial, there are people who are born again, by the way. Inside the same millennial, there are people who are responsible and, you know, they are not going to sleep around with every man. But there is this young person who, like even you are told in the Bible, teach a child how to, do things and even
They shall not depart from
Well,
it.
I know Gerald. I didn't know Preacher Gerald. I think the beard is growing and he's becoming
wiser.
He's become a digital wahenga.
yeah, digital wahengas. And I'm saying, teach a child how to grow, and then they will not depart from those ways even when they grow. But you see, the negligence we were talking about those times that parents have neglected their duties, children are not being guided on what to do. Exactly, now it's giving the real effect. Now we are in real life where we are facing it and seeing it. Like right now, you will see the levels, I don't know if I'm allowed to mention, but you'll see the levels of lesbianism and gayism and all these. The sexual patterns have changed. People do sex in groups and so much more. Those are now the urban people. The rural people are still the ones who are dating one person. Now that's how it feels like.
Don't you think, when you talk about that, I remember when I went to high school, it was off the urban areas. And our principal, those days they were not principals, they were headmasters. He would be very careful about the influence of the urban people over those guys who grew in we were in Rift Valley, so they were very careful about the influence that we had. The reason being now, looking in retrospect, is that when you meet somebody who has been deprived in something and expose them to it, they most probably will go to a greater extreme than yourself. So that the greater danger is not even with the urban people, because they've been exposed to this, they've been watching TV, they've been meeting people, they've been having all of this kind of engagement. But when you expose the rural person to an extremely new thing, and then they come out like it's like a child who has been locked indoors, and then you allow this child to go out one day, you probably are not going to keep that child in the house anymore. It happens even with politics, like when people have been in dictatorship, the day they touch freedom, they nearly go into anarchy because they move from one extreme to the other. You look at the people who will mostly probably trend in the urban areas, you trace them and you find this person didn't grow up in the city because they had this thing that was deprived of them. When they came in, they came and took it like completely. Guys who have been very poor are most probable guys who will probably go into entrepreneurship and make more money because they never had this.
And based on what you've said, I'd like us to just imagine for just 2 seconds. Here is Ruth. She's been dating this guy in Nairobi, but I only get to see him when he comes back home. And then he's now working from home, and he tells me, why don't you come for the first time? And I come, and the next day the president says, Nairobi's locked. Do you think I'm going to want to live there? Because this man is now, there is the television, there is a comfort. I have him now all to myself every other day. There are these small luxuries he's giving me, like the junk food. He's now introducing me to some of these things that they do,
Pizza is a
There is the evening walk because he's also trying to show me. And then 1 week goes, week 2 goes, and he cannot do this every other day. And I'm getting tired, and it's becoming strenuous. But I'm not leaving because it's comfortable.
But it will come a time, he will get tired of that. He will want to get you away. And once you go away, you'll feel like, yes, you already learned a few things when you were there. You still want to maintain that lifestyle. So it challenges you to go and work and do something so that you can get there. Now what it does, it gives yourself a competition inside you, and you're trying to make that life for yourself. And that now brings you, that it's harmful for you because you're competing with your own life, and you want to get things done immediately.
We're still coming back to the place of security, Gerald. When you talk about that, because if this girl has come, the same story that Ruth is giving, she has come in, she doesn't want to lose this at any one point. The next thing she will be thinking probably is, what if this guy leaves me today? It will mean I've got to go back to the village.
Or find another guy.
Or find another
So
person.
now, that then is what triggers the thing of finding another guy. Because she's thinking, if I lose this relationship, I'm going to go back home. So either I have to fight for myself to stay here, or have a plan B so that I can sustain this life. Then they will slowly move into now what James was saying was the urban youth. But you see, the way this person was deprived before, when they come into it, they cannot see themselves
Going back. Because they are not going back to Mama's house.
No Israelite ever wanted to go back
There
to
is no
Egypt.
boiling of that beans. You
But
understand?
I think it doesn't just apply to the girls or men from rural areas.
Yeah.
Even in an urban setting, you will find a lady who has dated a more richer guy, and you are disabled in a way.
Why do you guys always bring up the money issue?
Because you see,
What is this thing that threatens
at
guys
the end
about?
of the day, lifestyle and resources has
No,
connection.
no. Women love convenience. Women love convenience. If they find someone who can give them convenience,
Yeah, the money they look.
even if they don't love them, they can give them some airtime.
The question I had asked of how many young people right now actually settle down for love.
And you know look, it would be unfair to say that women love convenience, because there are a lot of young men right now. There are a lot of young men right now who are settling with ladies just because those ladies offer that convenience.
Yeah.
You know, at a certain stage, I think there was a survey done recently, and it was like between 25 to about 35, the ladies are more stable
Than the guys.
than the guys financially. I'm trying to remember that, but there was a survey that was done, and the ladies are a bit more stable, between 25 to 35. So at that particular point, then there are higher chances of the guys looking for the girls who have the money than the girls looking for the guys who have the money. Because so if the guys who are below 35 are broke, then the only way a girl can find a guy who has money is to look for somebody who's over 35.
But now, unfortunately for that is, here you are, you've been dating someone who has got more money than you. And I'm bringing it in the setup that James was saying here in the urban areas. So we've been dating and I have more money than you, and then we move in together. I want to have a Zoom meeting. You want to listen to music. Maybe for one reason or the other, you're not working at that particular time. What happens, you will begin to feel like I'm dictating what you should do and shouldn't do because I am making more money. Here I am, I want to invite, I want to maybe use the sitting room or part of our bedroom to stock products. And you don't want that, you want to put your shoes there. What will happen? You will start beginning to think that I am too demanding because I'm making more.
Right.
Conflicts, conflicts, when love is not there, conflict is everywhere. You could even decide to do something good and someone will see you've done wrong.
But even where there's
Even
love,
when love
right?
is there, yeah.
No, even where there's love, because you have mentioned something about the current trends where men now are becoming dependent on women,
Right.
because apparently the girl child was empowered, the boy child was neglected, the girl child became more richer.
And
The,
okay,
girl,
before you say anything, and I'm coming
Child
back.
is lazy.
the boy child is lazy.
Admiring what other boy child has and
So-
comparing himself.
so nowadays-
and thinking that you know what, that guy will take my girlfriend because he looks better, he has money.
So nowadays-
Insecurity, you understand? Insecurity in the boy child. Where is the boy child? Can boy child hear me? Where is my camera? Boy child, please. I am telling you, stop being lazy. Go out and find something. Start somewhere. Don't fear to look dirty. Go look dirty. Sell that manga. Even our president
Absolutely.
began somewhere. Our deputy president began somewhere. He hustled all the way up. And this is not politics. I'm saying, if you don't think...
So why are you talking about people who are not here? Why don't you talk about me?
Okay.
Yeah, now I have.
CJ himself here, He started somewhere, and we have that story.
Yeah.
Boy child, stop wanting the shiny object too fast. Stop wanting the shiny object and the brown girl. You're looking for that girl while you have not actually worked hard to get your resources together.
Okay.
So
I'm going to do a disclaimer on this. I'm going to do a disclaimer on this because sitting right next to Gerald is a very pretty African woman. So we must demystify this thing that, You're not gonna target anybody.
Anyway, I'm just saying this.
Okay, and I need to bring back James so that we don't harass James.
Yes, James, what I'm saying, I really needed to tell the boy child that he should be careful that he doesn't go lazy because of comparing himself and being insecure with what other people can do. We have potential. God created a man with potential, and the man needs to wake up, go somewhere and do something. And once you work, God will bless the work of your hands.
Now, I would actually maybe throw in a personal opinion because I see ladies are here and they might be irritated. I know that I said earlier that women love convenience because they don't like a chaotic environment. And for me, this is a personal opinion, so you can also put a disclaimer on it. It's not easy for a woman to manage poverty for a long time. She might be in a relationship with she might accept you as a broke man just for a while. Maybe just for this is a personal opinion.
Disclaimer on that one.
Yeah.
No disclaimer on that one. I support.
It's something that I've studied for a while. A woman can accept you when you have nothing because probably they have expectation that you will grow. You'll grow past that. But when you continue being in a place of poverty, that person will withdraw. They will withdraw. So the developments that have happened in the recent past is that women are becoming more stable financially. And unfortunately, there are some men who don't want to get into relationships with broke women. They want to find a woman who has made it. And that should not be a man. A man should be a builder. Whether you are dating a broke lady or a lady who has finances, you have to build that particular person. Even if you don't build their finances, find something to build so that this person finds an attachment in you so that they are able to stay connected. Because women have not been wired to endure poverty.
No, they're not born to suffer.
They have not born to suffer. No woman in the city loves to take a matatu. Hakuna msichana anapenda kupanda matatu. They're just doing it for a while. So if they find convenience, my brother,
I support Ruth on this before Ruth speaks, because generally you understand the kind of things that a woman would carry, the kind of shoes a woman has to wear, the kind of things that she needs to have. Public transport would not be the most convenient. So let's give it to them. Convenience, it's not about gold digging or anything.
Yeah.
It's just even when a woman gets into a house, she wants to own the space.
Yes.
Like she wants to arrange
She can't stay in a
things,
single
she wants
room.
to put her shoes there and something. So if you, for example, if you travel with a lady, from hotel to hotel, different cities and different nations, at some point she will get tired. The reason being she can't settle in. It is a good experience, but she's thinking, I keep on having to pack my bags and leave. It is very natural for a woman to want to settle in space. So that thing then would make her feel it's not very easy for a woman then to fit into things like those matatus, because look at a woman's car and you'll see the whole space. It's completely taken. There's a
shoes, changing clothes,
all those stuff. So we must also be. We must also understand where they come from. But
you have actually taken the words out of my mouth. I was actually just going to say that convenience might not exactly be the luxuries, but it is also the peace of mind that you get. The convenience is just being able to have that pillow talk with you, and the convenience also could be: are you the type of person I can go out with? Are you the type of person I can attend corporate functions with? Are you the type of person I can attend social functions with? Because you might also be convenient because you're a trophy husband or boyfriend. But also, there is the issue of why are you getting into a relationship with this person? Because if I'm getting into a relationship, if I am purposely looking for someone who I can be able to control, then trust me, I will endure that poverty. Because I know if I tell them, nitakunyang'anya hiyo gari, if you don't do A, B, and C, they will toe the line. So I will endure it. If I am looking for someone I can control, then I will most likely go for someone who is not well off, for someone who is, as you say, is poor. So I will endure it. Coming back to the point that you were saying. So it also depends on why am I looking for this person? Why do I want to settle down with this person? But if I am looking for someone I can build a family with together, someone I can consult, someone who is my partner, who is my best friend, then I will want, of course, I will want the person to grow. Because even as a person, no one ever wants to just be stagnant. As a woman, you also say, I want my hair to grow. You know, I want this and this to happen. I want my plant to grow. So why would you, as my partner, want to be stagnant?
I want to shift the conversation a little bit again and just come back to the influences that people have in this day as the millennials. And I'll go back to the digital space. That there are these seemingly perfect relationships all over the place.
Yeah.
They're on Instagram, they're on YouTube, they're all over, you know, somebody will run a show and, well, I don't know whether one exists and you can run with it, somebody will run a show and it is like perfect.
The family shows, yeah.
So there's a lot of that. Don't you think that is also putting a lot of pressure on people? Because when we started, what was coming out clearly was that foundations are not very solid.
Yeah.
And people are not getting to know each other. The thing you're talking about right now, like, why did I get into this relationship? But sometimes then even that foundation could not be laid well because I'm coming in and immediately I'm thinking about the Kardashians. I'm thinking about certain celebrities somewhere. So-and-so took the girlfriend to Mauritius or something. So I'm already looking for a man who can be taking me to holiday destinations. Or I'm looking for a lady that we can look good with in public. How has the impact of the digital space been on having authentic relationships?
I really feel like responding to that because this is it. Now you came to my point. That there's a lot of pressure by watching what other people are doing, by reading what the memes are saying, by looking at how other people are living. So it gives you pressure for life. You want to make it tomorrow. Well, you don't know, growth is a process, and all you need to do is believe in the process of growth and start somewhere and go until you get there. If you go and you look at it from the wisdom that God has given you and what you actually read around it, you know, search that wisdom to get your way, you will get there, but slowly. You have to take time. But now social media has brought pressure. You can see the kama hakuna kana mama yako. This guy, you know, you take even something that was not even meant for it and you are there putting the songs and there are girls dancing in that video. There is so much you want to be that vixen. You think those vixens are paid and you want to try that and you want to be this and this. And by the time you're looking back, you've wasted so much time trying to chase this and you've not made your own life. And that's why I'm saying, all you need to do, all young people need to do the millennial, my friends. We are part of this. By the way, I'm telling you, we are in this generation together. You understand? For as long as you are there with the generation, let no one replace you and tell you are in another generation. If you are a grandfather, you are a grandfather of this generation.
Right.
That's why you are digital, you can handle a tablet, and our former grandfathers couldn't. So that's why I'm saying, all we need to do is breathe.
I think the problem, what he's saying, pressure, the family shows are giving young people unnecessary pressure. Unnecessary, not just to the millennials, even to the 35, 40s and above, because the family shows are probably the most popular on YouTube right now. When you watch probably the S family, the royalty family, and all those American families, and when you come to Jesus, these were Jesus family, the Kinanes Twamboy, are giving young people some unnecessary pressures. When you watch them and you feel like
wait. So Kabi and Millie, you need to be here to answer James.
No, they are my friends. They are my friends, so I can mention them. Yeah, they are my friends, so I can mention because we have grown up together. Right. So there is no need for caption. They are my friends. So when one time I was telling Ernest Banzeva and Kabi, not to pay unnecessary pressure. So right now you get a woman, and this woman wants you to be all over Facebook announcing how you love them. When you go to a beach, you do some videos how you woke up this morning, and if you are not doing that, it does not show that you love them. So that unnecessary pressure, I think young people should just relax, do their relationship in a unique way. Don't force yourself to be a YouTube family. Yeah.
Allow me to just give a different angle. Number one, what is it that you're watching? Or whatever you're watching, what are you taking away from it? Because one reason to watch all those shows could be to ask yourself, how do I reignite the spark between my man and I? It could be that I am seeing in those shows they do certain activities together that they enjoy. So I would come back and see, what activities do both of us enjoy? Is it cooking? Let us try and do it together. So it has two angles. It could either really, really, really break your relationship according to the pressures they're saying, or it could really make it and help you build it.
As you say that, Ruth, interesting. One of the families that are on TV doing a family show, they actually had this discussion. And I was reading that. I've not watched it, but I read that online on a very respectable newspaper online. And they say on one of their shows, the guy was saying, my wife is putting me under pressure because every friend she visits. Now this is the YouTube family under pressure themselves. That everywhere my wife goes, everything she sees being done elsewhere, she wants me to do it. And so he was saying that his wife had become petty now, but these ones are influencers. So you can imagine what it does to the people who are.
But the reality is this, that most women are becoming petty because of these reality shows. Because let me explain. Let me explain first.
I watched an interview.
Let me explain
by
first.
Stage here when he was talking about his wedding, and you were wearing a red and black coat in that interview.
Let me explain this.
So if someone else is busy watching how someone is going to Dubai and Turkana, the nice places in Turkana, and they are comparing it with the last time we went out,
people are becoming petty. You need to understand your partner.
People, not women.
I have a scenario where a woman was telling, recently 2 months ago, this lady was telling her husband, stop being a traditional man. You need to start walking around with your kids. You need to start doing this. And she had been influenced by what she watched from these royalty family things.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because
but you are putting
the man
no.
Something else. We are no longer
You need to understand. You need to understand who your partner is. You need to understand who your partner. And even if
it's okay to try
I will still try to understand both sides.
Yeah.
And I understand the point that Ruth is bringing out, where there are lessons that you can draw.
Exactly.
And then I understand
but
where
without
James
pressure
is at as well.
Yeah.
That you are okay with this person.
Yeah.
Until you saw somebody else, and then suddenly now you want him to become somebody else. That's unnecessary pressure. I can appreciate what you are wearing without necessarily putting it on the lady in my life, like you need to dress like Ruth. Yeah. I can come around and say you're dressed well. I can meet Gerald and say, Gerald, you're smart, without necessarily then putting that pressure on the man, like, why are you not dressing like Gerald? You're not putting on coats and stuff. Yet the man may prefer to put on the way I'm putting on right now. So I think we also must learn how to appreciate people without then taking the strength of that person and putting it as pressure on somebody else who may not prefer that.
Yeah. But at the same time, we need to realize change is not always bad. Yeah. Let's not make change look like it's going to really break you. Because African men never knew they would look good in trousers before the colonizers came. Similarly, I am 150% sure, if you ask your grandfather, he never knew closed shoes would be very comfortable before someone introduced him to the open one. So sometimes you actually need to push someone to get out of their comfort zone. But you, like you say, you need to know your person. If you realize that your person is uncomfortable with it because maybe it's not comfortable for him, it makes him look some certain way, then yes, please, by all means, just relax. Don't make your man look for other people who will give him peace. But if you see that your man needs it, because sometimes men don't know they look good in certain things. They don't know. You have to tell them. Sometimes they don't know that they need to take photos. Yes. So it's good to sharpen your man sometimes. The same fire that can burn a house refines gold.
Yes.
So you need to, we need to look at it both both ways.
I feel like clapping for you and
Yeah.
having this because yes, life has a lot of pressure.
But I wanted to ask Ruth something
yes,
before
yes.
you go on,
Yes.
Ruth. So would you do a YouTube relationship? Wake up in the morning every day?
She looks like she'll do it. She's in for it.
Because of my career, I would not put my love life in the public domain that way.
If you didn't have your career?
If I wouldn't have my career, I think I would consider it.
YouTube family.
However, unfortunately, every man I have been in a relationship with does not like social media. So we always find a way to balance. And why I think it is okay is, like I said, I used you as an example. I've seen you do interviews with your wife, and it's beautiful.
Those
and
were
you take
interviews, girl.
This is
I will tell you
interviews.
something.
but
First interview, it took 3 months of pursuit for me to say yes. Literally, they called like every time. And that was Samantha Bridal. They called like
Yes,
a
that's the one I
whole
was the first
3
one I
months.
watched.
And I kept on refusing. Because I felt like, I do what I do. And I don't want to be there. I don't want you now coming in and trying to pry into my life and doing stuff. So generally people think that because I do stuff in front of cameras, that I like bringing my stuff in front of cameras. No. You go to my social media.
But you
that
teach.
You don't want to put. I would
Yes.
say
I am
teaching.
all for teaching people.
It is
Yeah.
us that are going
For
to.
helping people
I don't
get
have a
lessons.
problem with teaching anyone,
Yes.
but the attitude of that conversation, first of all,
Now that's that's
when-
where
attitude
I
of that conversation.
When you wake up, hey, I'm woken up in the morning, I'm having breakfast, I'm ordering
No, now
pizza.
that's no.
What are you telling me?
That's
You're,
no.
Hey, I'm ordering pizza for babe. Babe, do you want pizza this morning? That's what we
Okay,
want.
yeah. So-
I'm like, yes, it is a good thing. You're showing us how to live.
But
how to live.
it comes back to something that Ruth said, because our time is going past, but I'm going to ask for another 5 more minutes. But it comes back to something that Ruth said, which caught my attention, which is that this generation doesn't like having serious conversations.
Yes.
They want everything that distracts them from the
Yes.
serious conversations.
Yes.
So if you come in there and say, guys, today I want to give you 5 tips on how to build your relationship, they're not coming. But you come in over there, like today we woke up and we're not talking. Oh my goodness. In the first 5 minutes,
Yes.
the thing is trending because they're not talking. So it's like also we have this appetite for things that are not serious. That is really, really feeding us. But then we try to take that life and bring it into now something as serious as a relationship.
I think just like I had said, we also must ask ourselves, what are we watching?
Yeah.
Because if you're watching, and why are we watching it, and what are we taking away from whatever we are watching? And why I say that also is because as a marketer, you will agree with me that you need to pull people to see your product with what people like a lot. There was a time when Kiss 100 was coming, they had a billboard that, one day this outfit of the lady would be removed. The next day, another outfit would be removed. So every day some people would be looking forward to, kesho watatoa nini tena nione? Because for one reason or the other, there's the sexuality really brings people in. Look at how they advertise cooking oil. Look at how they advertise. All these things. So even for these YouTube family shows, they need to, if that is what will help them get their clientele, their audience, their views, then they will do it. But have a one-on-one conversation with them. Look at when they're having the Q&As. When people are asking them, so what is your partner's love language? And they begin to have those conversations. When someone is asking them, how did you know she was the one? Or how do you resolve your conflicts? They have those conversations. So again, for me, I say, as a millennial, watch it. Distract yourself from all those things. But do not take the necessary things. It's like when people are telling you, giving you negative criticism. You sieve what can build you and what can't build you. So similarly, while you watch, sieve what can build your relationship and what will make you have high blood pressure and you don't have the money. Live.
Run for your life.
Live.
Run for your life.
I think one thing I'll say, the YouTube family shows are not a reality. See reality on the ground. Sometimes these things are scripted, and it's not good for you to sit down, watch, and take it to your relationship. Let your every relationship is unique. Every relationship is unique. There is no relationship that looks like the other. So every relationship has a specific problem and specific issues to address. So we cannot take a life of Andrea in some family show and put it as a demand on your partner. Because when you begin putting it as a demand on your partner, especially for men, if you put a demand on them that I want you to be like this, they will not do it. So change has to happen progressively. And if you want to initiate change, be the change. Just initiate those programs.
I'll tell you something else, still sticking on that because of what James is saying. So there's an interview that we did, and this person asked me, so where do you go on vacation? Because, and I could tell there's an expectation they've developed in their own mind, which they want to put on me. So they want to hear me say that every year we go to Paris, we go to Rome, we go to Geneva, and all of that stuff. You see, this is this person living out their own fantasies. They want to live their fantasies through me. And I've got how I'm working with my own family, and nobody's complaining over there. So if I choose that I'm going to go for holiday in Turkana, that's me.
You know, there's no vacations.
But allow me to give you the upside to that same example that you have given. Some time back, my parents used to both serve in ministry. So at some point they were doing an in-house interview, and they said, for us, every holiday, we used to pack our kids and take them to the rural area. We don't care whether they have plans with their friends. They must learn to visit the rural area. And people were like, but you guys spend the holidays with your kids. You don't have time to unite. And it was a whole thing. Trust you me. The next Easter holidays, that particular area, there were no kids coming for the camps. Everyone had been shipped back home. And for me, that is positive. Because that is something that you're now encouraging people to pass down the culture to their families. And so I still stick to what I'm saying. Let people sieve the information that they have. If in someone's mind, they are seeing that because Sage here goes for vacation where, then I also need to do the same, the person will hit a rock and the person will realize I have been doing the wrong thing. And also as a YouTube family, you need to be honest with people.
Yes.
You need to be honest
How
with
will
people.
you be consistent? You cannot.
Let me tell you. How will you be consistent? Don't be consistent.
They cannot be honest. They cannot be honest.
I want to save them. YouTubers, please do your thing. Don't stop. Don't change. Do your thing. Show us the Caribbean beach.
Show us how you are rich.
Yes. Show us the heaven on earth. Like it.
Show us how you don't fight.
Jesus, you're my friend. Continue doing it so that people can know how to treat me.
For the record, this show is not about our Jesus family.
Yes.
I need to set out that straight. The truth is they actually met somewhere around where I manage and oversee. That's where they started. This is not about the cabbies. Keep doing your thing.
Keep doing your thing. Don't stop. But one thing you should.
There are our examples today.
It's James who brought up your name. So go on.
So
Gerald.
I'm saying, let's when you just do your thing as a YouTuber. But then I want to talk to the viewers of this show. This program is here for you, so that you don't go and watch and forget you have a life of your own. Exactly. Build your own. We don't
Gerald,
watch.
you're a digital content creator. I want to start one myself.
Yeah.
So we need to look for one fine home in Watamu like this.
Oh.
Wow.
We shoot enough
Yes.
in one weekend that can run for 3 months.
Yes.
Then I come back to my small house in Nairobi.
And that's exactly what YouTubers do. So the viewers, please forget that you see what you say, you brought it so well, that these people are producing. That is production. It's like a movie. When you watch a movie of people killing each other, you don't go killing people.
All right. We're about to wind up, so we've got to come back to where we started. There've been a lot of adjustments that we've had to make, especially in this day. And I want us to, just winding up and giving your final thoughts, advising the young person, not even if not the young person, but people out over there, the millennials who have had to deal with a lot of things. Of course, the truth again is that we have a lot of expectations on millennials. And some of them have not actually been mentored or parented because their own parents were never home until this COVID came up. Their parents were competing with them in those spaces. So the child is watching, she's 21, she's watching my friend's show, she's watching 10 over 10. And the mom is probably watching it from elsewhere. They're doing the same thing. So these kids are not actually being parented at all. But we have an expectation on them. Their parents are also on social media. Their parents are also out there creating content. So we have an expectation on them. But we have a responsibility to still save a generation. So one of our closing thoughts, like beginning with you, James, because if I start with Gerald, you will not speak.
I think one of the things that every family and every parent needs to do is proper management and the programming. I had an experience with a family, especially my brother's family, and they have these teenagers who are both in primary school and in high school. And you find that the scenario that you have painted, some of them are watching TV in the living room, the parents have their TV in the bedroom, and all of them have their interests. And probably the interest of the children sometimes spill to the parents. But the most important thing for any parent to do is to do a proper programming and a disciplined programming for their children and even for their teenagers. Because right now there are so many things that have come up. Right. I have an experience with one of my relatives who did this because the daughter loves TikTok. The daughter would have on her program, she has a time to do TikTok. And you cannot say that you will not do TikTok read, because at this particular point, especially for the millennials, you'll have to allow them that latitude of time to do their TikTok videos. Right. And it's quite something that gets into the head, especially for ladies who love to dance. They love to go to TikTok, dance, see their followers, see how many people have liked. But now, it is the duty of the parent to instill this discipline, especially in programming, that at this particular time you need to be disciplined in observing these particular things. So if a parent doesn't do that, then they'll find that their children are too much into TikTok, too much into Instagram and Snapchat, and they are forgetting about the most important thing at that particular time and that particular season.
All right, Ruth.
Yep.
I think what I would love to tell people, and for me, I would focus on the young people who have found themselves in or out of relationships during these people, or even both. Making the wrong move or getting into the wrong relationship can shatter you forever. So be conscious of what you feed your mind and what you feed your relationship. Be conscious on why and who you're getting into a relationship with. Make sure you have someone to talk to, and not someone who is going to gas up your life in a very negative way and your relationship in a very negative way. Make conscious decisions and try as much as possible to use this period to learn more about your partner in a positive way, to learn more about your relationship, and most importantly, to grow your relationship.
All right, Gerald.
Wow. Me, I'll start by saying God first. If you put God first in your life, there are things that you will get to learn. And remember, the church is not the building, but in your heart, inside your body. Anytime you go inside your body and start talking to yourself and asking yourself questions, you're inside the church. Now set the rules of that church. You understand? When you got in front of that meeting, you are inside the church. Set the rules of that church and make that church to be the right place to be, so that when other people come in that church, when they come to you, they will feel that this church has been set rules, this is the best church to be, so that now two people comes together, you come in a relationship, then people will like you because of what you have built yourself to be. So build inside you first, work on you, and create that relationship between you and your creator. And now this social media thing, be careful. Social media is there to stay. It will never end. This is our new thing. It is our new style, just like Corona. It's here to stay. So what you need to do is just be safe. Run for your life. Create opportunities on social media. Use it. It's there. It's a tool. You can use it and go places. I'm telling you, if we didn't have social media, we wouldn't have Kardashians. So you can create things. You can come up with something great on social media. Use it. but then be careful that it doesn't use you. Because if social media starts using you, you're gonna lose, you're gonna be on the losing end, you're going to cry because you have a life to build. When you were born, you did not know there is social media. You met, social media found you here.
Okay.
Rather, social media, you met it.
All right, you know, if Gerald was a preacher, he would be those kind
As
of
the Spirit
preachers
leads.
that people have to hold the metaphor like this. But, you know, having brought in the combination between social media and COVID, then probably the principles would be the same. Wash hands, sanitize, wear your mask, and keep social distance with social media.
Exactly.
Just get to know what you need to take from there. But this has been a very delightful show for me to host on CJ Scott. While they were all talking about here, I was thinking about something, and I need you to tell me whether we should do it. Because I'm thinking, should we set up something that just will focus on the relationships and the millennials to keep on having these conversations? I need that on the comment section. So let us know. I want to see your votes. If you feel we should keep on doing this, I will keep this jury right here so that we do this more often and talk about the matters that you know affect you and just give you that guidance. Because the truth is, a lot of people do not know where to turn to receive insight, instruction, or perspective. And we would love to be that for you. And we come to the end of today's CJ Scott. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, CJ ATEMO. Subscribe. Share this video everywhere that you can. Also follow me at CJ ATEMO on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Until the next time, keep it right here.